Never say never about Broadway and West End. But to tell you the truth, I'm not sure I could manage those 8 shows a week anymore. Never say never about Broadway and West End. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure I could manage those 8 shows a week anymore. Because but then again, I do so many concert tours that often, we do a lot of performances in a week. So maybe I would have the strength to do it. I'm not sure, but it's always wonderful to get into a different character and play somebody other than yourself. That's what would get me back there. But the first question, which was, what was the first part of the question?
Oh, what are some of the most memorable moments of your career?
Oh, right. Okay. Do you know, I would say actually doing the 2 times that I've sung the theme song for the Olympic Games. There's something, like with musicians and sport people that do sport and are stars in the sport world. They're the two, a couple of the things that bring, no matter what's going on with countries, wars, everything, it tends to, sport and music tend to bring people together again, because we all love music, we all love sport, and so I think singing those theme songs and being there at the Barcelona Games, the Barcelona Olympics, and the Chinese Olympics were incredible moments. So I would say they're the most memorable, and what happened within them as well. But I could write a book on that. So
we would buy that book.
Yes, but no, they're the most memorable moments. The wonderful thing about Phantom of the Opera, and we never even thought about it at the time. We were just all trying to put on a show. But what I do remember about it was that right from the start, it worked. However we worked with the story, whatever we changed, everything worked about it. It was one of those pieces that were meant to be. It was like a sort of wonderful jewel, a wonderful story that everybody sort of could relate to. So no matter, with all the performers, no matter what sort of creed, what color, wherever anybody came from, if they're really wonderful at what they do in the singing and the acting and everything, they're just perfect for the part. And so it's been lovely watching the sort of legacy, in a way, that all of us that were working together at that time, and especially for myself and Andrew Lloyd Webber, that really, that's, he wrote the music very much formed on my voice and me being there, because at the time I was very young and very very sort of going through a lot of my training, and he learned a huge amount about that, so he was able to sort of follow in a way through the story my life as well, and him being the composer. So those two characters, sort of like a Christine and a Phantom, almost sort of creating all of this wonderment. And so it's a pleasure to see all the new performers coming up and taking on these roles. It's wonderful. So yes, whatever the world brings, whatever sort of diversity there is and difference, it's all a wonderful thing, because at the end of the day, people are just showing how wonderful they can be playing those roles that we all initiated and started. I think especially with the sort of Christmas repertoire, it was really a case of, obviously the first thing is to find pieces that you're really suited to singing, because that's important. I wanted a lot of choir, because I always think that choirs represent angels. They have that wonderful feeling about people singing together, that wonderful thing. So a lot of the songs have a lot of choir singing along. I wanted to create a concert that had a lot of tradition in it, so pieces that people were very familiar with. I wanted to bring the religious aspect into it, the Christianity into it. So there are religious pieces in there. There are also some fun pieces, some more contemporary pop pieces which bring in Christmas. And of course, because I know when I come to the Philippines, people always want to hear some of my hits. So I've chosen hits which fit well into Christmas. They're about celebration, or they're about sort of like personal thoughts, those sort of songs. And I've linked them all together. So that's really how I've made a Christmas show. And also for the visuals, the visuals are very intimate and very beautiful, because I always think with Christmas, although there's a lot of bling and there's a lot of color and razzmatazz around it, actually people, they really enjoy the intimacy of Christmas, you know, being with their family, very personal feelings, all of those sort of things. So I've created, as well as some fun lighting, we've created some very intimate, beautiful lighting for the show, which gives people a lot of feeling. And also the looks of where the orchestra are placed on stage, the way the stage is, it's almost like, as I said earlier, a little bit like looking into a snow globe, so that you come into our world, into the Christmas world. Yes, I'm definitely singing some of my hits, because I know that people wanted to hear them. And obviously, you know, they're celebratory pieces that I chose. So we've got a wonderful choir singing Masquerade, which was in Phantom, and then we do Phantom of the Opera, which is kind of, it's interesting because you always colors red and dark, and I think it will be a fun sort of gothic Christmas piece to do at that time. So yes, there'll be some renditions of some of mine done in the more Christmas spirit.